Hello everybody, it's the Universal Critic. I talk about whatever I want, whenever I want, and today I'm reviewing Steven Spielberg's new biopic, Lincoln. To answer your first question, no, I did not see Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, and I probably never will, so I'm gonna bring that up. So now that I got that out of the way, how was the movie? The movie was very good. I very much enjoyed it. I was never bored, even though it's a 2.5-hour movie, despite the fact that I knew how the story would end, and yes, spoiler alert, Lincoln dies at the end. Yeah, despite the fact that I knew that everyone knows that, the story I still managed to find it enjoyable. So, well, what did I like about this movie? Well, for one thing, Daniel Day-Lewis is perfect as Lincoln. When I first heard his voice in the trailers, I thought that he sounded a little too young for the parts, but that is not the case at all in this movie. And I like that he isn't just portrays, like some sort of one-dimensional paragon of virtue or blah blah blah. He has flaws. He gets sad when he has to talk about the fact that his son died, and but other times he's like a jovial kind of a storyteller. He tells funny stories. He's not a joke or anything, but he doesn't. The movie makes a good point that he has a sense of humor, and that's what keeps us invested in a character that we just feel is so perfect, and we've heard so much praise showered upon to see him as a real person, and that's what makes this movie work. So yeah, how are the other cast members? Well, let's see. You got Sally Field as Mary Lincoln. She does an excellent job. She's good in everything. You also have Joseph Gordon-Levitt as his son, who does a very good job, though his character does feel a little underused, but to be fair, that's not the focus of the story. And you also got Tommy Lee Jones as one of Lincoln's allies, though I love Tommy Lee Jones, but I didn't as much see him playing a senator as I did see him playing Agent K from Men in Black, playing a senator. But, well, it's Tommy Lee Jones, but he's always enjoyable. So what's the movie about, per se, aside from Lincoln's life? Well, what I like is that this movie is focused on just like the last few months of his life. Specifically, him trying to both simultaneously end the Civil War and pass the 13th Amendment to abolish slavery. Because back then it wasn't just like, oh, Congress passed at the end. No, it was a real hard thing to do. It was embroiled with all this political relations with the South and with the different senators, Democrats or Republicans fighting. You think that's a new you people think that Democrats or Republicans fighting over things is new. No, it's not. Trust me, it's not. And I like that the movie shows that, and I also like that even Lincoln, aside from maybe Lincoln a little, but the rest of the characters are either fighting either against slavery or for it. Even the ones who are fighting for slavery are doing it for, well, rather selfish reasons. For example, the people who want to pass it mainly just want to use it as a way to keep the South in line, keep the South from rising up again, to make them surrender. Things like that. It's not just like, the North knows the South is right and the North knows that slavery is wrong and the South doesn't. It's nothing like that. Nothing like that at all. It's a very realistic look at this thing. That's what makes it work. So, but one other thing I want to mention, if you recall, some of my earliest reviews were the movies J. Edgar and The Iron Lady, which were the big two biopic Oscar contenders from last year. And I liked them both, though The Iron Lady was marginally better. What the problems those movies had were that they lacked focus. Like, they tried to be about so much, they tried to incorporate so many elements of the people's lives, and it just didn't work. As I said before, Lincoln doesn't have that problem at all. It's much more focused, and it's much more entertaining because of that. And speaking of biopics that are Oscar contenders, soon I hope to see the movie Hitchcock, starring Anthony Hopkins as, well, Alfred Hitchcock. But we're not talking about that. So it's Oscar season, so I'm going to have to probably going to be seeing a bunch of those movies. So overall, Lincoln is a very entertaining movie, and it's not just, Abraham Lincoln was a good guy. It paints him as a real person, and that's something you rarely see a major president painted as. And that alone is worth the price of admission and seeing through a 2.5-hour movie. So Lincoln is really good. I'm sure a lot of you will enjoy it, and that's the most I get. That's all I have to say. I'm the Universal Critic. I talk about whatever I want, whenever I want. Goodbye.